Hi, everybody. Welcome to English Digest. I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Tom.
It's our travel unit, and we're going to a very cold location. We're going to a city in Norway, which is way up north. And the city we're going to be talking about for the next couple of lessons is Tromsø. Tromsø, Norge, which Norge is the way they say Norway in their own language, which is Norwegian. And I was telling Tom before we started, I'd really like to go. There are so many things I like to see. I would like to see in Norway. And also, it's a cold area, and I like to be cold rather than hot.
Right.
So this sounds like the perfect place for me.
And, of course, as you know, the Scandinavians are really good at English, so language won't be a problem there. Norway is a cool country to check out. If I had all the time in the world and all the money in the world, of course, I would go to Norway. But I don't have all the time in the world, and I don't have all the money in the world, so I need to select where I want to go. And, Norway just isn't at the top of my list here, but maybe it will be after we talk about what Norway has to offer. We're going to a place called Tromsø, Norway, and we'll find out what it's all about. So let's get to it. Let's listen to the contents of our lesson, and we'll be right back.
If you're looking for an unforgettable adventure under the shimmering lights of the Arctic sky, Tromsø, Norway is the perfect destination. Located above the Arctic Circle, Tromsø is known as the Paris of the North due to its unique blend of natural beauty and urban comforts. Beyond its stunning northern lights, the city offers a range of exciting activities that make it a must-visit for thrill seekers and culture enthusiasts alike. The Northern Lights, or Aurora Borealis, are a mesmerizing natural light show that occurs when solar winds interact with Earth's magnetic field. These lights are typically visible in high-latitude regions, and Tromsø's location in the heart of the auroral zone makes it an ideal spot for viewing this incredible spectacle. The best months to witness the aurora in Tromsø are September, October, and March. Tromsø has several advantages when it comes to aurora viewing. For one, its coastal location helps to moderate temperatures, with an average winter temperature of around -4 degrees Celsius, relatively mild for the Arctic. For another, Tromsø's weather is generally more stable compared with other Arctic areas, thereby increasing the odds of clear skies, a crucial factor in aurora viewing. To boost your chances of a successful sighting, escape the city's artificial lights on one of these clear, cloudless nights. The northern lights occur high up in the atmosphere, so any cloud cover can obscure the view, while street lighting and lights from buildings would also steal the show. Joining a guided tour is also highly recommended, as local guides are experts in monitoring aurora activity. They're thus more likely to take you to prime viewing spots.
Okay, it's time for us to discuss the contents of our lesson for today. We're talking about Norway. And more specifically, we're talking about a place called Tromsø. We're talking about its highlights and its highlights.
Cute.
What a clever title there.
Yeah.
Highlights, of course, are just the points that we want to emphasize or point out. Like the highlights of Taiwan would be like Taroko Gorge, Kending, Alishan, places like that. Those are the highlights. But that's one word, okay? The main features of something. But highlights would be lights that are high in the sky. They're referring to the northern lights.
And we're going to be checking out some of the highlights of Tromsø today, actually for the next couple of lessons. If you're looking for an unforgettable adventure under the shimmering lights of the Arctic sky, Tromsø, Norway is the perfect destination. Unlike Tom, Tromsø would be up closer to the top of my list of places to go that I have yet to see. But, I know a lot of people out there that don't like the cold. You could go in the summer, but you're not going to see the northern lights as well.
Well, I don't mind the winter. I like winter sports. I like skating and cross-country skiing and things like that. But this place is kind of interesting because it's north of the Arctic Circle. So if you're looking for an unforgettable adventure under the shimmering lights of the Arctic sky, Tromsø, Norway is the perfect destination. I think you probably have to get to Oslo first, okay, and then figure out some transportation up to this town. It's probably not a big town, so you probably have to take a bus up there or maybe a train or maybe even a boat along the coast. That would be cool. But yes, indeed, it's an unforgettable adventure, and you'll see the shimmering lights of the Arctic sky. So if something's shimmering, well, you have lights on, but they're kind of bright, and then they're a little dimmer, and then they're bright again. They kind of go between bright and dark, and so they're shimmering. And yes, indeed, the lights change. And this is the Arctic sky, which means the sky over the Arctic part of the world, the Arctic Ocean, the North Pole.
Yeah, the Arctic Circle is the North Pole. When you see Antarctic, just think the opposite. That's the South Pole. So the Arctic, the North Pole, Antarctic, South Pole. Maybe you can try to help yourself remember those two.
I think most people just skip over the C in the word Arctic. I say Arctic because, I've English teacher and stuff like that. I can't help it. But most people just say Arctic, and that might be easier for you to say.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because we actually teach English. We say it a little bit more clearly, I think. Arctic. Yeah, Antarctic. Yeah, if an American is speaking Antarctic, yeah.
It's common to drop it, and it's not wrong. So if you don't pronounce the C there, don't worry about it. And again, this is Tromsø, Norway.
Tromsø.
It's a perfect destination if that's what you're looking for. I think a lot of people do want to see the northern lights. Maybe it's on their bucket list for life to see those northern lights. I would like to see them myself. My brother has seen them because he lives in Minnesota, and sometimes they get them there. But I don't live in Minnesota. And therefore, I have not seen them myself. Maybe I'll see them someday in Canada or someplace like that.
Well, if you go visit him, maybe at the right time of the year, maybe you'll see some in Minnesota. You have to be up pretty far north to see them, though. Tromsø is known as the Paris of the North, kind of their nickname. So think of Paris. It's beautiful. There's shopping. A lot of tourists go to Paris. So it sounds like it's kind of the place to go in Norway if you're a tourist. Why is it known as being the Paris of the North? It's got a unique blend, a mixture of natural beauty and urban comforts. So you still feel like you're outside in nature, and yet you're also going to be quite comfortable. So there are probably places you can stay with good heating, good restaurants, good things like that. Those are important to a lot of tourists.
Right. So it's a small town in northern Norway. It's actually not too small, not too big, but it's still got some characteristics, enough characteristics so that people can call it the Paris of the North. It's got the natural environment, and then, of course, it's a town with lots of facilities. And beyond its stunning northern lights, the city offers a range of exciting activities that make it a must-visit for thrill seekers and culture enthusiasts alike. Okay, so of course, lots of people go there to see the northern lights. Okay, that's a one-in-a-lifetime sort of event that you could check out to see those northern lights. And they are stunning, which means when you see them, you're kind of frozen in your tracks. Oh my goodness, that is so amazing. I'm so glad I came. And you take out your camera and start to take pictures. And, of course, you quickly post those pictures on Facebook to get all the likes you can. And, yes, indeed, they are stunning. But, that's not the only thing that they offer there. There are other kinds of outdoor activities and maybe some cultural activities as well, like movies and plays and maybe even concerts.
Now, moving on to the next paragraph, the northern lights that we've been talking about also have a more scientific name, and that's Aurora Borealis. So if someone says Aurora Borealis to you or you see it in writing, just know that we're talking about the northern lights. I didn't learn that term until I was, I think, in high school. I think when I was quite young, we always said northern lights. It's easier for kids. So you can always use northern lights. We're describing them as being mesmerizing. So when you pronounce this word, we usually pronounce it with a Z sound, mesmerizing. Although I think some people say mesmerizing, but it's very rare. I would go with the Z sound, mesmerizing, which means captivating, engrossing, fascinating, almost like it's hypnotizing. It's so amazing. Just seeing the pictures or the video online of the Northern Lights, I always think it looks like magic. That's what I think of it as being. So it's mesmerizing. It's natural light, and it occurs when solar winds interact with Earth's magnetic field. I'll let Tom explain the science.
Yeah, you got those particles coming from the sun there, and then they hit the magnetic field of the Earth, and then they start heading toward the poles. And so you see these lights in the sky in different sorts of colors. Anything having to do with the sun we use the word solar, okay? If you want to watch the moon block out the sun for an eclipse, that's a solar eclipse. I think there was one here in Taiwan a couple of years ago. There was one in the U.S. 2 years ago, I think, a total solar eclipse. And yes, these are solar winds, and they interact with the atmosphere of the Earth, which means they do things to it, and they interact with each other. Magnetic means they have to do with magnets. Of course, we got the poles here, like the positive pole and the negative pole. And, of course, they repel and attract particles, depending on which pole we're talking about. And these lights are typically visible in high-latitude regions. And Tromsø's location in the heart of the auroral zone makes it an ideal spot for viewing this incredible spectacle. Okay, so yes, indeed, a high latitude just means very, very far north.
North and south.
It could also be referring to very, very far south, too, like in, southern Chile or Argentina or South Africa or whatever. Those are high latitude regions.
And the opposite of latitude is longitude.
Which goes left and right.
Yeah, east and west, right? Yeah.
Right, exactly. So that's how you figure out your location on the face of the Earth. And yes, it's in the heart of the auroral zone. Before today's lesson, I did not know there was such a word, auroral. So it's not very common.
Yeah.
If I haven't heard of it, it's probably not very common. But this is the zone where you can see the aurora. I guess that's the one, is it Greek or Roman, the goddess or goddess of the dawn or something like that. I think that's what that means. That's where that comes from. So we've got the aurora borealis, which is the northern lights, and the aurora australis, which is the southern lights. I hope I said that last one right there. But in any case, this is the auroral zone, and it's a great place to see this spectacle. A spectacle is something really fantastic to see with your eyes. Okay, so of course, when we see the fireworks on 101 or whatever, that is a true spectacle.
Yeah, a couple of 100 years ago, maybe even 100 years ago, we used to use the word spectacles, which is plural, always plural, to describe eyeglasses that people wear every day to see. So I want to buy a new pair of spectacles. So it was a noun, and now it's come to just mean something that you see that's quite amazing, and you see it with your eyes. It's visual. So as they say here in our article, the best months to witness the aurora in Tromsø are the months of September, October, and March. We're both a little surprised to see that March is a good month to see the Northern Lights, but it sounds like it's still a good time to go. So, but always check and make sure you're going at the right time. You don't want to waste all that money to try to get an airplane ticket to go to Norway and then miss the lights.
Well, I think the lights are probably going on all winter. It's probably a matter of the weather, okay? So if you have clouds and things like that, you're not going to see anything.
Right. The cloud cover is very important.
Right. So it's something to do with the weather mostly. Okay, that brings us to the midway point in our lesson for today. Let's listen now to our Chinese teacher.
Hello everyone, 我是派老师。今天讲解的是3月25号 Unit 14 Tromsø's Highlights and Highlights。好，那这个单元介绍的是挪威的城市特罗姆瑟。听众当中不晓得有没有人曾经规划过极光之旅？有心想去看极光的朋友，可能都考虑过去挪威。到底这座城市 Tromsø 特罗姆瑟有什么样的魅力？为什么适合观赏极光？ 观赏极光的时候又有哪些注意事项？这篇文章提供了我们相关的解答。好，我们一起来看学习重点吧。请同学看到第一段第2个句子，就特别的说明为什么这座城市特罗姆瑟那么特别呢？其实它还有一个名称，就是 Paris of the North。 那老师要提醒同学哦，你们在做学测的练习题，甚至于将来考学测的时候，在阅读测验要特别注意的就是像这一种在引号里面的，要特别注意到到底为什么要有这个名称。你看后面就有解释了， Due to its unique blend of natural beauty， 之所以被称为呢，就是北方的巴黎，原因在后面， Its unique blend of natural beauty and urban comforts， 就是它有自然的美景以外，同时呢还有都市的舒适生活，这两者结合在一起，所以大家才把它称为 Paris of the North。 再来，请同学看到第3个句子，而且这座城市呢，其实不只有极光 Northern Lights， 请同学特别画起来，就是极光。那还有呢，这座城市有什么？有很多很有趣的活动，那特别适合什么样的人？ Thrill seekers， 如果你要寻求刺激，那或者呢 cultural enthusiasts， 也就是你对文化特别的热爱，那你一定要到这座城市来。再来，请同学呢看到第2段的第1个句子。第1个句子先解释到底极光是怎么产生的，后面讲到了，好， The northern lights occur when solar winds interact with Earth's magnetic field。 那原来是这个样子啊，就是呢这边讲到太阳风还有地球的磁场相互作用的时候，就会发生极光。那这座城市为什么特别适合观察极光呢？原因在于它就在极光带的中心。好，所以请同学也特别要注意哦，老师说过了，像这一种类似解释原因的句子，通常呢都会是出题老师主要出题的地方。好，这 Tromsø's location in the heart of the aurora zone， 在这个极光带的中心，那导致于后面这件事 makes it an ideal spot for viewing this incredible spectacle。 Spectacle 请同学画起来。那我们知道壮观的景象，我们都可以用 spectacle 这个字，就表示非常的壮观，形容词是 spectacular。 再来，请看第3个句子，词语搭配看极光，那我们怎么说呢？ Witness the aurora， 可以用 witness 这个动词。
We're going to take a quick break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back, guys. It's our travel unit, and we're talking about a special place in Norway, which is in Scandinavia. It's high up north, and we're describing it as being very close to the Arctic Circle. So you're way up there in the North Pole. So it would be quite an exciting adventure. I can see why our author describes it as being an unforgettable adventure. It's also known, this particular city, Tromsø, known as the Paris of the North. You're getting a lot of the beautiful natural scenery that you expect being out in the wilderness, but there are also creature comforts or urban comforts. You have heated hotels, you have water, you have gas, you have all these things that we expect to have in civilized society. And there are probably good restaurants, places to go and see different sights besides the Northern Lights. So it's considered to be someplace that's really fun for tourists to go to. Now, the Northern Lights, or their more scientific name, Aurora Borealis, they're mesmerizing lights. They're natural, and it occurs when the solar winds interact with the Earth's magnetic field. That's what happens to produce these glowing, shimmering, really shiny kind of magical lights that people can see. And they typically, I see like the colors of green and blue, but I've also seen other colors too. So it just depends on the interaction at the time that you're seeing things. These lights are typically visible in high latitude regions. So Tom had described his brother as being able to see them in Minnesota at the right time, right place, with no cloud cover. You need to have the clouds get out of Dodge or get lost, get them out of the place, because if you have a cloudy sky, you're not going to be able to see what you want to see.
That would be of concern to people from Taiwan because you're going to travel a long way to Norway to see the Northern Lights, and of course it will be ruined if you have several days with clouds. You ain't going to see nothing, okay?
Yeah.
So here in the next paragraph it says, Tromsø has several advantages when it comes to aurora viewing. Okay, so you got different choices here. For one, its coastal location helps to moderate temperatures with an average winter temperature of around -4 degrees Celsius, relatively mild for the Arctic. Now, this is a way we express temperatures here. If it's below zero, we say -4 degrees. Some people say -4 degrees. I had not heard that until I came to Taiwan and heard people saying that, so I guess some people do say that, but I grew up saying -4 degrees. It's -10 outside. Wear a coat. It's really cold out there. And yes, indeed, I guess this is relatively mild for the Arctic. For people in Taiwan, that sounds really, really cold. But for people in Norway, they're probably used to it. All you got to do is wear a scarf and a thick coat and long johns or long underwear or something and wool socks, and you'll probably be okay.
Yeah, long underwear has a cute name that Tom just mentioned. Long johns. Kind of fun term there. When you see this word relatively added before some sort of adjective, it just means in comparison to other things, right? So most people would think -4 degrees Celsius is freezing cold, and it is quite cold, but it seems relatively mild if you're comparing it to other cold places, especially if you're talking about the Arctic. Mild can mean gentle. Maybe you're ordering a dish of food. For example, I like Mexican food a lot, and a lot of the dishes are very spicy. So you can sometimes choose which spice level you want. Mild, spicy, extra hot. Here we are using it for temperatures. If it's not very extreme, it's more moderate, gentle. It can be described as being a mild day, or it's mildly chilly or mildly warm, things like that.
So there are other places in the Arctic Circle that could get quite cold, maybe like Alaska or Canada or whatever. So it's not so bad there in Norway there. And for another advantage is that Tromsø's weather is generally more stable compared with other Arctic areas, thereby increasing the odds of clear skies, a crucial factor in aurora viewing. Okay, so you want to go to a place with stable weather. The weather in Taiwan is not so stable. It changes quite frequently. It can be really sunny. It can be cloudy and rainy, and a typhoon can come in as well. So yeah, the weather isn't so stable, but here the weather is stable compared to other areas in that part of the world, and that thereby or therefore increases the odds of clear skies, and that's what you want. It's a crucial factor in aurora viewing. If it were cloudy, maybe you would see the clouds maybe glowing a little bit, but that's not what you came there to see. You want to see the real thing, and this is a crucial factor. It's key, it's vital, it's important. If you have cloudy skies, you pretty much wasted your time.
Oh, it would be very disappointing to me.
For sure.
Yeah, so to boost your chances to lift or increase, that's what boost means, of getting a successful sighting, meaning you actually get to see those beautiful northern lights, you need to do some things. And here's the first thing. You need to escape the city's artificial lights on one of these clear, cloudless nights. So if you're in the city, and you know this if you live in a city here in Taiwan, here in Taipei, I hardly ever see stars because we've got a lot of what we call light pollution.
Yep.
Too many lights are on at night. We never get to see the beautiful night sky. I can see the moon. That's okay. But I can never see stars. And I miss my stars. I grew up in Arizona and we could see stars. So just going outside in the backyard, I could just lie on the grass and see those stars I missed that. So you need to escape the city's artificial lights. And you also need a clear, cloudless night.
Right, and the northern lights occur high up in the atmosphere. The atmosphere, of course, is the air that surrounds the Earth. They're pretty high up in the air, and so cloud cover will obscure or block the view, and then street lighting and lights from buildings will also steal the show. If something steals the show, it kind of distracts the attention of people, so you're going to have lights from buildings, and you'll probably be distracted by all that extra light. What you want to do is see those lights, and I'm sure you can probably find people who are willing to take you out of town to a remote location to check out the northern lights, albeit for a fee.
Oh, for sure. So joining a guided tour is also highly recommended. Why? Well, local guides are experts in monitoring aurora activity. Of course they are. They're being paid to do that. If you monitor something, you regularly check on something. Maybe you're checking on something's development, the progress. Maybe you're keeping, really careful notes of something. If you're in a hospital, of course, your condition, if you're a patient, is always monitored by the nurses and doctors there to make sure you're doing okay. Here, these local guides are always monitoring the best time, maybe the best time of the day, the best time of the year. You could be, talking about what month you want to make your plans. All of these things are important, and you can get that information online.
Indeed, and I think I did find a website a while back that shows Northern Light activity, where you can go check it out. But,
I have a YouTube page marked in my computer that just has a camera on the skies 24/7.
Oh, okay.
I love those lights.
That's better than nothing, but of course what you want to do is see it with the naked eye, with your real eyes. So of course we can talk to local guides there. They're experts at monitoring the aurora activity, and of course they're going to speak good English, and of course Norwegians are pretty friendly. At least the Norwegians I've met before.
They're very nice.
Pretty nice people. And they're thus more likely to take you to prime viewing spots. If something's prime, it's ideal. They'll know where to take you, maybe on top of a mountain somewhere or in a valley that's away from the town, so you won't have so much light pollution. And if you're lucky, you can get there when A, the lights are shining, and B, the sky is clear. But there's no guarantee of either one.
Yeah, but we wish you all the luck in the world. Someone is going to be explaining just a little bit more as our Chinese teacher. Let's listen.
接着请看第3段，除了刚刚所说的 witness 之外，当然也可以用 view。所以第一个句子就告诉我们赏极光，那可以呢到这座城市。这座城市有哪些好处 ？Aurora viewing 指的就是欣赏极光。这座城市为什么特别适合？有2个元素，2个因素。第一个 for one， 那先讲第一个原因，因为它就在沿海嘛。那沿海的位置怎么样呢？有助于它 moderate temperatures， 请同学把 moderate 画起来。这里并不是形容词哦，这边是当作动词，也就是调节的意思。那因为海边的位置的关系，所以它不会呢过于冷或过于热。好，那再来请同学看到第3个句子 for another， 那另外一个原因就是这个地方的天气呢是比较稳定的。It's generally more stable compared with other Arctic areas. 相较于北极其他地方是比较稳定的。好，再来请看到第4段。第4段第1个句子 To boost your chances of a successful sighting. 好，请同学把这个 successful sighting 画起来。当然所讲的就是为了要让自己更有机会能够顺利的看到极光。好，那该怎么做呢？也就是要特别注意到，最好那一天晚上要是万里无云的时候。再来我们看第2个句子，那为什么要这样子呢？我们看逗点之后就说明了原因。Any cloud cover can obscure the view. 请同学把这个 obscure 画起来，这里当作动词来用，也就是遮蔽。只要有云，就可能会遮蔽我们的视线。好，那后面也讲到了，而且尽量呢要远离这些都市当中的灯光。为什么？ Street lighting and lights from buildings would also steal the show. 那这里的 steal the show 当然不是指人为的这种表演呢，它所指的就是极光。好，那再来，作者也建议我们 join a guided tour， 去参加导览团。为什么？因为这些导游啊，当地的导游，他们通常会知道哪个地方最适合我们，最容易看到极光。好，以上就是我们针对呢这个城市第一天课文内容所做的中文讲解。I'll see you next time.
That's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for joining us, and join us again next time for another edition of our program. And check out our extra content on YouTube and Facebook. You might learn a thing or two in addition to what you learned here today. From all of us here at English Digest, I'm Tom.
I'm Stephanie.
Goodbye.
Bye.